Welcome to the Ministry of the Obvious. I've traveled to a lot of countries in my life, about 50, and I've kept a running tally of things that are obvious that we could employ in the USA to improve our lives. The list is long, and so this is episode 2. Visit my channel, Edward Effect, for part 1 of the Ministry of the Obvious. And I encourage anyone to add in the comments anything else they can think of. I came to Colombia for a few months 7 years ago. I'm still here. Before, I was in Hollywood making movies. Now I'm in Colombia making content. If you know your dates, you will know that the world shut down during those days. And while my trip was originally planned for 3 months, at the end of it, the airport shut down for 8 months. And during that time, I fell in love. Not with a person, but with a country. Where I live in Medellín, there are many markets and grocery stores within walking distance. And that is where we're gonna start with this new list. This new sort of cultural import-export thing I'm talking about. And I've been walking past something every week that I forgot to put in episode 1. Because when you live somewhere long enough, you stop seeing it. Until now. So with that, the Ministry of the Obvious meeting is now in session. Item 1. The octagon of truth. A lot of packaged food in Colombia carries a black octagon on the front. A stop sign shape, stamped right where you can't miss it. If the product exceeds certain amounts of sugar, saturated fat, sodium, trans fat, the Ministry of Health designed it. Not related. Says in plain Spanish, exceso de azúcares, excess sugar. Evitar su alto consumo. Avoid high consumption. No fine print, no asterisks, no percentage of daily value buried in a chart. On the back, you'd need a calculator and reading glasses to decipher. Just, this has too much sugar. Stop sign. You've been warned. You want to know my favorite part? You know what gets busted by that octagon? So many things you thought were healthy. The granola bars, the fruit juices, the yogurts with the smiling cows and the natural on the label, and a little picture of a fresh mountain stream. Octagon, octagon, octagon. Octagon don't care about your branding. Octagon don't care it got chia seeds in it. You exceed the threshold, you wear the stop sign. And the shopper knows. Busted. Chile started this in 2016. Mexico followed. Colombia, Brazil, Argentina. Half of Latin America has figured out the job of a food label is to give you information, not market the product to you at the same time. The US food label is a paragraph of numbers in a font made for mice that needs a nutritionist to decode. The octagon is a stop sign. One of these is designed for the person buying the food. The other is designed for the company selling it. Item 2, your tax receipt. Every year in the UK, when you file your taxes, you get a document back from the government. Not just a confirmation that they received your money, an itemized receipt. Line by line, it shows you where your taxes went. It's called the annual tax summary. Pensions, this much. Healthcare, this much. Education, defense, housing, roads. Broken down in pounds and pence specific to what you personally paid. Even to the crown. For those of you who don't know, everyone in England is basically spending the price of a pint to the family, whether you like it or not. That's too small to be included in a summary, but it goes in the general governance pie piece. I've been paying taxes to the United States for my entire working life, and I never received anything resembling this. I get a bill, I pay it. It disappears into the government like money into a couch cushion, and I have to just trust it went somewhere reasonable. What percent goes to wars? $100, 1,000, who knows? What percent is your congressman using at his favorite steakhouse? Go ask the wind. The UK version is like a receipt. The same thing you get when you buy a sandwich. Here's what you paid for, here's what it costs. The Ministry of the Obvious would also like to point out that if the government would have to hand every taxpayer an itemized receipt every April, the conversation about where money goes might be considerably more grounded in actual numbers than it currently is. Item 3, the shrinkflation label. Have you ever heard of shrinkflation? Even if not, you've lived it. Ever wonder why that bag of chips keeps getting smaller? You have lived it. The juice bottle that went from 16 ounces to 14 ounces and kept the same price. They tried to get that past you with a new slim bottle that says slender on the handle, and marketing that tells you so it fits easier in your hand, or some such nonsense. But we at the ministry are onto this, and you are too. The toilet paper roll that got narrower somehow, they didn't raise the price. They just gave you less, hoping you won't notice. It's fluffier, but it's less. Every time your toilet paper roll runs out, you can curse shrinkflation. In France, some supermarkets are now required to put a label on the shelf that tells you when a product is shrunk. It says, essentially, the product got smaller since the last time. The price stayed the same. You can do the math. It's the same logic as the octagon. The job of the label is to inform the person buying the thing, not protect the company selling it. In the US, shrinkflation is just a thing that happens. With bags of chips, with toilet paper, with your grandmother. Companies do it because they can. Nobody tells you. You just notice one day the ice cream container fits less ice cream, and you feel vaguely cheated, but you can't quite prove it, and eventually you just accept it and move on. The French supermarket put a sign on it. That's the difference. Item 4, the cereal box without a cartoon. I want you to picture a cereal aisle in a Mexican grocery store. Same brands, same products, Lucky Charms, Corn Pops, Fruit Loops. But the leprechaun is blacked out. The toucan is blacked out. The tiger is gone. Any cartoon character, any mascot, any illustrated figure that might appeal to a child, covered, gone. Not allowed on the front of a package if that package contains a product that exceeds sugar and sodium thresholds. Mexico decided that if you're gonna sell children's cereal that's essentially candy in a box, you do not also get to put a cartoon character on it to make children specifically want it. You have to pick one. Either make a product that doesn't exceed these thresholds, or lose the tune. I grew up eating these cereals. I know exactly what Tony the Tiger was doing. He's not selling cereal to adults. He's selling it to 7-year-olds who will beg their parents in the aisle to buy it if they see a tiger. Mexico just said if the product can't pass a basic nutrition threshold, the cartoon doesn't get to be there. That's it. The Ministry of the Obvious finds this obvious. The US food lobby finds it outrageous. Item 5. Australia mails you a test at 50. When you turn 50 in Australia, you get something in the mail from the government. Not a birthday card, not a jury summons, a bowel cancer screening kit, a home test, free, sent directly to your address, because the government looked at the data on when colorectal cancer becomes a real risk and said, we should probably tell people about this before they have symptoms, not after. From age 50 onward, you get one every 2 years automatically. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to know to ask for it. It just shows up. You can even request one before that, starting at age 45, for free. In the US, colonoscopy guidelines exist, and your doctor will probably mention it eventually, if you can afford to see a doctor, if the topic comes up. The Australian government decided that if the topic comes up wasn't good enough for something that is diagnosed in 15,000 Australians per year and is highly treatable when caught early. Why free? Because of the burden of late treatment of disease on the healthcare system in all of our pockets. This is a wonderful example of a trend towards preventative medicine the US desperately needs because our healthcare expenses are to the moon. So they just mail you the test. The Ministry of the Obvious has No notes. Item 6, the elevator umbrella. This one is small, but I love it so much. In an office building in Osaka, Japan, the elevators have a small light near the door. When it's raining outside, the light illuminates a little umbrella symbol. That's the whole thing. You're leaving work, you press the lobby button, and if it's raining, you see the umbrella before the doors open, before you're outside, before you're committed to walk to the parking garage, after you've forgotten your umbrella in your office. It's information delivered at exactly the right moment in exactly the right place, with exactly the right amount of effort to act on it. You see the umbrella, you reach into your bag, done. Nobody had to check their phone. Nobody had to walk outside and get surprised. Talk about a simple solution to a pain point. I probably think about this one more than I should. Usually it starts making me sing Rihanna under my little umbrella, because it's not some super advanced technology. It was just someone asking, when is the moment someone needs to know this? And then putting the information out there. The Ministry of the Obvious believes this question is asked a lot less than it should be. Item 7, try it on at the post office. I ordered something online. It arrived in my building while I was out. I had to go to the post office to pick it up. This is already a nuisance. But in some post offices in Vancouver, Canada, there's a fitting room. Not a big one, a curtain and a mirror. So when you pick up your package, like those shoes that might not fit, the jacket you weren't sure about, the dress that looked one way on the model and might look different on you, you can try it on right there and send it right back there. You're already in the post office. If it fits, you take it home. If it doesn't, you hand it back to the person at the counter and it goes back. You don't take it home. You don't have to repackage it. You don't have to go online and print off a label and find a drop point. You just try it on and hand it back in the same trip. Return to sender. It exists somewhere in a post office in Vancouver, Canada. The Ministry of the Obvious is choosing to be inspired by this rather than wishing someone told us sooner. Item 8, the quiet hour. One evening a week, a supermarket in Ireland turns the lights down, turns the music off, doesn't make announcements over the PA telling you where the blue plate special is. The checkout beeps are quieted where possible. It's called a quiet hour. Sounds like the title of a James Joyce short story. And it exists for people with autism, sensory processing disorders, anxiety, and anyone for whom a bright, loud, beeping grocery store is genuinely exhausting rather than mildly annoying. The first time I read about this, I thought, wow, this sounds like something everyone would appreciate. Then I thought, that's kind of the point, isn't it? The people who need it most need it enough that it changes whether they can do their grocery shopping independently or not. And the cost to implement it is negative. Just turn some dials down. The Ministry of the Obvious notes that a lot of accessibility features work this way. They're designed for people who need them, but they make things better for everyone else too. Item 9, the card that gives you more time. In Singapore, if you're elderly or have a disability, you can apply for a card. It's a physical card you carry. And when you reach a pedestrian crossing, you tap it against the signal post, and the crossing timer gives you extra time. More seconds to get across the street safely before those vehicles start chasing you down. It's called, get this, Green Man Plus. Gets you an extra 3 to 13 seconds. The crossing doesn't inconvenience anyone. The light cycle adjusts. The cars wait a few more seconds. The person crossing doesn't have to rush or panic once they're halfway across, or get halfway across and realize they're not going to make it there or back. I've watched elderly people navigating intersections in American cities. I've read the panic in their faces when the signal starts flashing. 9 seconds left and they're only halfway across. Singapore built a card for that, not an app, a card. Low tech works every time. The Ministry of the Obvious is filing this under solutions that need more empathy than engineering. To close, school lunch. I want to end this episode with something that's not political so much as a photograph. There's a photo circulating of a school lunch tray in South Korea. Rice, kimchi, vegetable stir-fry, steamed buns, cucumber salad, pickled radish, a bowl of black bean noodles, an actual meal served to a child at school for free. There's a photo of a university cafeteria meal in France. Duck leg, mashed potato, broccoli, a bread roll, a pastry, cheese, chocolate cake, a bottle of water. Cost to the student €3.30. There's a photo of a university lunch in Spain. Roast meat, fries, lentil stew, bread, dessert, a small glass of red wine because it's Spain. And they're adults anyway, so it's fine. €3.50. American school lunch, what even is it? A rectangle of mystery meat, sausage pizza on a gray cardboard tray, reheated frozen chicken nuggets sweating inside a hot plastic bag, a bag of baby carrots, a carton of chocolate milk, and a scoop of canned peaches in heavy syrup, everything wrapped in crinkly film under harsh fluorescent lighting, a slice of policy debate sprinkled with funding arguments. A thing children get mocked for if their account runs out. It's not a meal anyone photographed and posted because it didn't look like anything worth eating. The Ministry of the Obvious is not going to tell you this one's an easy one to fix, but it would like you to recognize that other countries have fixed it. Multiple countries with smaller economies and different governments and different everything, and just as many arguments on both sides of the aisle. They were able to come together and with thought for the health of future generations, just feed the kids. And that's our meeting today, but the ministry is still open. If you haven't left a comment yet and you know something another country does better than the US, please leave it. Doesn't have to be a big thing. The best ones usually aren't. The umbrella in the elevator is a light bulb and a tiny sensor. The octagon is a black stop sign, sometimes even just a sticker on the packaging of the food label. The obvious things are everywhere, we just stop noticing them. I'm Edward, Texan, 7 years in Colombia, ex-Hollywood producer, current cultural importer-exporter. That's the end of today's Ministry of the Obvious meeting. Adjourned.